Thanksgiving carries many traditions. Cooking a fine dinner that for some reason you eat at 2 p.m., watching the Detroit Lions lose an American football match, and presidents granting clemency to birds.
Before I begin, I'm going to ask for a vote. Do I free the turkeys tonight?
That's Joe Biden, congratulating the duo on having avoided the fate of being decapitated, wrapped in plastic, and piled into a Walmart end cap.
I hereby pardon Liberty and Bell. All right. Congratulations, birds. Congratulations.
Liberty and Bell here are from Minnesota, and they made their way to the nation's capital over the weekend in a black Cadillac Escalade. And after their arrival in D.C., they held a press conference where they pretty much tried to walk away the whole time because they're wild animals. And when I say wild animals, I mean wild.
We've been intently raising them and getting them acclimated to some different things that they're probably not quite used to, whether that's sounds and noises and things like that.
That's the president of the Jenny O Turkey Store, a subsidiary of the Hormel Foods Corporation. He says these 20-week-old, 42-pound birds were born and raised at the corporate HQ as part of the presidential flock. And all this pomp and circumstance here isn't just about breeding a bird for Biden.
Delivering a bird that we've raised for the president to enjoy with his family is one thing. But another is to really celebrate the birds, celebrate animal agriculture, which is so important to our economy, of course. And I just think it's a pivotal shift that allows us to celebrate those that do really, really hard work each and every day and uplift and honor them.
Honor indeed. For one thing, they were put up at DC's Willard Hotel, which has suites that range anywhere from about $800 to nearly $8,000 a night. And, of course, come with a fully stocked minibar, in case that wild turkey wants some wild turkey.
The Willard has been kind enough to host us, and so we obviously have a large contingency that will be there, those that are helping us with the animals included. It's such a historic hotel. It's really close to the White House. The birds have their own executive suite, so they actually stay in their own room, and to have the Willard Intercontinental accommodate that for us it couldn't be more perfect.
Now let's be honest here. It's a bit of an odd tradition for the commander-in-chief of the world's greatest military power to spare the life of an animal that doesn't appear to be accused of a single crime. But no matter which way you slice it, it's a part of our nation's history.
You know, this has gone on through 14 administrations, and I've seen some of the historic pictures, say, of Kennedy and Reagan and other presidents who have done this. And I can tell you from personally, to have a chance to spend time in the White House with the President of the United States over such a long and storied tradition is really very humbling, and we're super grateful for the opportunity.
Historians say this turkey tradition dates back to the days of Abraham Lincoln. And beginning in 1947, presidents have received live turkeys from the National Turkey Federation to signal the unofficial start of the holiday season. Now, presidents would occasionally eat the things. Truman said in 1948 the birds he got would come in handy for Christmas, and I don't think he meant they'd be helping wrap gifts. But future leaders exhibiting a bit more grace and leniency would go on to grant pardons and reprieves to the birds, like President Kennedy and President Reagan. Even Richard Nixon pardoned a turkey, an act that would go on to be repaid to him by President Ford. But it was George H.W. Bush who turned the granting of an official pardon to a turkey into an annual event in 1989. And it wasn't just some 80s fad, like shoulder pads and singing raisins. This one had a bit more staying power, like the Rubik's Cube or trickle-down economics. Bill Clinton went on to use the opportunity to point out the scale of the slaughter these birds face.
Tomorrow, 45 million turkeys will make the ultimate sacrifice for America's feast, but not this one.
George W. Bush tried to get inside the mind of the turkey.
It's a fine-looking bird, isn't it? Flyer is probably wondering where he's going to wind up tomorrow. He's probably thinking he's going to end up on somebody's table. Well, I'm happy to report that he and Fryer both have many tomorrows ahead of them.
Barack Obama urged the birds to display a sense of decorum.
Don't interrupt. The power vested in me, you are hereby pardoned.
And Mr. Trump, the first former president in American history to face criminal charges, once bestowed upon the birds the words he perhaps hopes to hear himself one day.
I hereby grant you a full and complete pardon.
This year's turkey pardon actually landed on President Biden's 81st birthday, which he alluded to in Monday's ceremony.
This is the 76th anniversary of this event. And I want you to know I wasn't there in the first one. I was too young to make it up.
As tradition goes, the president is letting these birds go free. Now that's a relative term here. They'll be returned to their home state and studied by the University of Minnesota's College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resources Sciences. And before the turkeys go on to be observed by our nation's scientists for the remainder of their turkey lives, Biden highlighted how the tradition of Thanksgiving itself plays a major role in our human lives.
Now let me conclude on a serious note about why we have Thanksgiving in the first place. To remind ourselves, and we sometimes forget this, how we have so much to be thankful for as a nation. This week we'll gather with the people we love and the traditions that each of us have built up in our own families. We'll also think about the loved ones we lost, including just yesterday when we lost former First Lady Rosalind Carter, who walked her own path, inspiring a nation and the world along the way. And let's remind ourselves that we're blessed to live in the greatest nation on this face of the earth.